What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I mean, you guys kind of already know who this guy is.
What's up, guys?
Johnny, Rico, whatever you guys know him by. Today, as I mentioned in my previous video, I mentioned that there's a new segment that I'm introducing to this channel where I'm going to be interviewing up-and-coming creators, up-and-coming talent, and my buddy here is, my first guest. And you guys, welcome him with an applause. Let's get right into it.
Cool.
For people that don't know you, for people that, just getting maybe first time watching my videos, first time watching my channel, or haven't even heard from you, let's, break it down. Who is Johnny?
So my full name is Johnny Rico Mercado. I am a content creator, mainly on Instagram right now. Also on YouTube. I do have my blog channel on YouTube. I do a little bit of everything, man. Anything creative, you name it, I most likely do it.
Okay.
From creating videos to photography to comedy sketches and skits. Like I said, the blog. So anything that challenges my creativity, man. Just just a creative. Yeah.
Awesome. I want to ask you this question. Something that I just was thinking about. How did the name Rico? How did you adapt that name, or how did it come to be?
That's a funny story, man. I actually, growing up, I hated that nickname. Not growing up, but when I was about, I believe it was in 7th or 8th grade, I started growing my hair out.
Okay.
So my barber at that time, he goes by the General. He works in at, I believe it was Smooth's Barbershop at that time here in Port Hueneme. So he grew his hair out, and I thought it was a really cool thing because the sole purpose of him growing his hair out was because he wanted to donate his hair to kids with leukemia.
Oh wow!
So to me that was a huge thing, man. I was like, wow, my barber is doing that. And mind this, my barber's full of tattoos. He's a barber. Every other word that he used was a cuss word. So to know that he had a heart like that was like super huge to me. So I thought it was really cool that he did that, and that inspired me to grow out my hair. I could never stand long hair growing up. I've always gotten hair once or twice a week because I just could not stand the long hair.
Yeah.
But I decided I want to do it. I said, hey, you know what? Let's give it a go. Let's try it. I end up doing it. When I grow my hair out, I didn't really know what to do with my hair besides slick it back. So people, I don't know why, they started just calling me Rico Suave. And at first that bugged me. It really, really upset me. Like I would get mad and I would show it a lot. So I shared with my dad. I was like, hey dad, look, like kids at school, like family, friends call me Rico Suave, and like I don't like it. And he's like, look, the more that you get upset, the more that people see that you get upset, the more they're gonna call you Rico Suave. So there was a point where I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just whatever. Okay, you guys want to call me Rico Suave? I'm gonna embrace the nickname. So I always just like to say that it's my middle name because people know me by that or by Johnny. So yeah, that's how the name Rico developed. So initially it was Rico Suave because of the long hair, and then it just stayed as Rico once I stopped. I cut the hair off.
I thought that your name came from either your mom or your dad, because I know you were very involved in salsa and dancing. Right. So I assume that that's where the name developed from. That
was one of the main cases. That was, apart from the long hair, that was another reason why they would call me that. Because I believe and don't kill me for this, but I don't know who Rico Suave really is, but I know that he was a dancer, he sang or something like that.
Okay.
So that's another thing, another reason, because I was a performer and a dancer, and when I would dance I would slick my hair back and like put it in a ponytail or in a bun.
Okay.
And that's where the name was, it was slick, it was Rico Suave, the suave, so that was another thing. I was a salsero at a young age, dancing, performing, so that's another reason why the kids would pick on me or whatever and what have you, and would call me that name. So yeah, that was the development of the name Rico.
Okay, so I know, touch a little bit about you dancing. Are you still dancing, or are you getting, because I believe we had a conversation once, and
right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you mentioned that you were looking into potentially this year or the next year looking into performing at the Salsa Festival here in Oxnard,
right?
Which I'd be excited to watch. So touch a little bit about that.
So dancing, I'll start at the beginning. I started dancing when I was about 5 or 6. Now the reason why I'm a dancer is because both of my parents are performers.
Okay.
Both mother and father were professional dancers at a point. sponsored dancers. So they were doing, their thing. They were really well known in Oxnard, Ventura County, Los Angeles. They were making a name for themselves. So it was kind of a thing that was passed down to me. And it was actually passed down from my grandfather to my father, and then to my, to us, to my sister and I. So grew up listening to nothing but salsa. I'm full Mexican, but I do, I can really, how do you say? I can really relate to the Caribbean culture because of the music. I grew up with salsa and bachata, cumbia, merengue, and all that stuff. So started dancing when I was around 5. Learned to dance, learned to love music. I was taught to listen and with my heart and feel music rather than listening to it. So it's always been part of my life. I performed from when I was like 10 till about 16 or 17. So I had a pretty good stretch of time performing and being on the dance floor. I stopped dancing because the dance team at that time just kind of, we dissipated. Everybody kind of did their thing. Now, as far as me coming back, I have been looking into coming back and dancing, performing once again, and performing on my old stomping grounds home, which is to me at the Oxnard Salsa Festival. One of the, I guess you can say, one of the family reunions for us salseros here in Ventura County. That's kind of where I grew up, and I had my second family. So, yeah.
Awesome. I had the opportunity to go to my first, salsa festival here in Oxnard, and it was amazing, guys. So if you guys live in Oxnard or live around here, definitely come check it out. I want you to talk a little bit about something that just happened recently. You had a big show. You were a host for some comedians that came down here to Oxnard. I think that's huge. How did you build up to that? How did that happen? How did you feel? How did it occur, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about that?
So before I jump into that, I just want to say thank you to my buddy Diego from Mom and Pop's Tacos. He's the man who really opened that door for both Chimmy and I. Okay. Chimmy is one of my buddies that I make some of these sketches with. We've made a few videos together, and we've worked together and worked in the community together and trying to help each other out, bounce off of each other's energy and help each other grow. So we've been doing that in the comedy world here, and on Instagram. So the way that it came about was that I believe Diego was involved with the American Me Comedy Tour. That tour is owned by Jason Rogers, and they're good friends, or they're business partners. I'm not too sure. I don't want to say specific, but I'm not too sure how it is that they work together. I just know that they work together. Mom and Pop's Tacos sponsors this show, which happens to be they happen to be our friends as well. Mom and Pop's Tacos. So the way that it happened was this. Diego gets a call asking if he wanted to host Levity Live, and he saw that it was a good opportunity for both Chimmy and I to help get our name out and bring the community together because of what we're trying to do. We're trying to get involved with comedy. So he gave that opportunity to us. We promoted it, and luckily we sold out the show. It was a collective work, though. I do have to say that it was a collective work. We all played a major role in getting that house as packed as we could. So, shout out to Chimmy, to Diego, to Jason, to everybody that collaborated with us to help us get people in there. It was amazing. According to some of the security guards that were working the front, they told us that the show, they had to deny entrance to a few people because we just were at capacity. We couldn't get people in. I believe it was 40 people that couldn't get in.
Wow. So
yeah, it was a great turnout. My first show, and to answer the other question you asked, how did I feel preparing for it or coming up to it? I felt very confident, and the reason why I felt confident was because I had my team with me. I had Chimmy with me. Chimmy and I, we bounce off each other's energy really well when we're on stage and when we're performing or whenever we're making these sketches, which 90% of our work we never ever think about. It's just boom, bro, just think about this, let's shoot it. Okay, wow, it was good, it was magic. So that's kind of how our sketches work. So we were just able to nail it, man. It was a really great experience, and it couldn't have happened without you guys. Whoever's watching this that is a follower of mine, couldn't happen without you guys. So it was just a really exciting feeling, and there's a lot more on the way. That's all I can say. There's a lot more on the way. I can't discuss it right now because it's still in the works, but there's a lot more on the way, and just know that we might be coming to a city near you guys.
Who knows? You talked a little bit about Chimmy. You talked about your relationship, about how you guys bounce off energy, and how you guys perform on stage as well as in front of a camera.
Right.
I'd like to know how did this relationship came to be, because I know a little bit about how it happened, you know, about how you guys knew each other from high school.
Right.
But how did that relationship actually take place?
So Chimmy and I meet in high school. We used to be from rival party crews. I won't say names, but we used to be from rival party crews. He was hanging out with one crowd, I was hanging out with another crowd. What's a party crew? It was just a group of guys that threw parties and rapped or wanted to rap or whatever, and
So
we
you
did
rap?
our thing, right? No, I did not rap.
Oh, okay.
I was just part of the crew, part of the group, right? We're just kind of the group is in the back, like, hey, you know, we're in the back, just doing our thing. We're the backup dancers, yeah. So we were from rival groups, and the thing is that I was a dancer, so I dance hip hop as well. So I was a dancer, Chimmy was a dancer, and also our buddy Queso, Cheese.
Okay.
So Cheese was also a dancer, and he was also with the same group. And the only thing that we would do when we went out, we never really had an issue with each other. It was kind of like the other guys, like my buddies and his buddies kind of beefed with each other. It was never between him and I. We had mutual respect from the beginning. We both knew that we knew how to dance. Like, it was just a really cool like relationship that we had. Although it was awkward because his friends didn't get along with mine. So technically, I was still gonna back up my buddies, right? I was with them. So that's kind of how we met. We met at a few clubs. I know that back in the day we used to have Club Breeze, Miami Nights, and I can't remember the third one, but there was a third one that's here. I think it's Fresh Mix.
Okay.
Here in Port Hueneme, or in, I believe it's Port Hueneme still. So we did, you know, meet at these places, also at parties that we would run into each other. So it was a you know, a cool experience, and that's how we met. We lose contact when we go to high school or like toward junior, senior year, and then I see him again at the gym, at World Gym here in Oxnard. So I see him there, and he's like, hey man, I've seen what you've been doing, you know, with your blog and your Instagram. It's cool. We should make a video sometime. And I was like, a video? I've never acted. I don't know what you mean. And he's like, bro, you're a dancer. You're a performer. You should be a natural. So I'm like, you know what, man? Okay, I'll help you out with a video. So I meet up with Chimmy for one of his videos, the first video we did. And he's like, all right, bro, you're going to be in it. And I'm like, I don't know. I've never been in a video. I don't. He's like, bro, just give it a try. We try it, successful, and now we're here. Yeah,
Awesome.
That's kind of how we met each other again.
That's cool. You know, it's cool that you guys reunited, and now you guys are working towards, you know, a bigger goal, you know, in life, and just helping one another,
right?
Keeping each other accountable towards, you know, towards what you want to achieve. I take it a little bit personal. You know, what is something that motivates you? What is something that pushes you to every day create, you know, skits? And then also, why did you fall into skits?
So what motivates me? I like challenges, man. I like challenging myself. I like trying new things. I'm a big doer. So I like just doing things, man. And I remember you and I had conversations about watching me watching LeJuan James, me watching
which hopefully he watches this.
Yeah, hopefully you watch it, LeJuan. We love you, man. You know, watching LeJuan James, Oscar Miranda, Mexican Ways, Jay Valentino, who else? Super Ego. Super Ego is one of my favorites, man, from back in the day. He did the Cholo Adventures. So just watching those, like, I was inspired, and I was like, man, it would be so cool if I could do something like that.
I remember that.
So I don't know, man. It was just something that happened. I can't really say that there was a motivation or inspiration to do it, something specific, but it just happened. I guess it was more of a Chimmy kind of opened a door.
Yeah.
Chimmy opened a door in my mind that was just like, boom, dude, you're kind of good at it. I mean, I guess I'm kind of okay at it. So he just kind of opened that in my mind, and I was like, well, let's give it a go. And I've been doing it, and you know, thank God I've been successful at it so far. I think we've been growing pretty well, and I plan on continuing this journey in making sketches and skits. So
awesome. I'd like to know, what's the difference between Rico and Johnny, or if there's even a difference, or if it's the same, you know, person, you know?
Right. Okay. Well, that's a great question, man. So, what's the difference between Johnny and Rico? There isn't really necessarily a specific difference. Rico is kind of more like my public, like, nickname that I adopted as my middle name. I tell everyone it's my middle name because the story is long. So it's really no different, man. I'm just in the public eye. I feel like I'm very loud, very, you know, I talk to everyone, and I'm like that in person as well. But I guess Johnny is more of a quiet person. Like I'm more quiet. calculated a little more. About my business because of my professional career as well.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm just a more quiet in person than I am on social media and you know, all these social media platforms. So in Reality Cruise, to answer that question, man, there isn't really a specific difference. I mean, I'm Johnny, I'm Rico, I'm both, but I feel like I just embrace a different approach to things when I get that like Rico thing. It's more like a boom, we're on go, let's perform. I guess the Rico side is more the performer side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Johnny side of me is more like just myself, but in reality, it's the same person. I'm just, you know, just I guess the stage name per se, right?
Yeah, definitely. Growing up, were you, I mean, based on the fact that you're a performer, based on the fact that you're someone who's very social, very outgoing, you know, who likes to be around people, I'd like to know, were you always this kid? Were you always someone who was introverted or extroverted, I would say? Because you seem like you're someone that I put you in a setting of people and you just can just speak to anyone and everyone, right? So I like to know, growing up, were you always like this? Or did something change that made you feel, you know what, I am this type of person. I am someone that can just be social with everyone.
You know what, man? You're making me think with that one, and the thing that I can think about the most is there's an experience that I had in kinder.
Okay.
I remember one of my teachers, her name is Mrs. Canales. She's super cool, my kindergarten teacher. By the way, I went to Lemonwood School. If any of you watching this care to know, I went to Lemonwood Elementary School. So I remember this teacher, I think it was the first week. She told one of our other teachers, Mrs. Burrell, which is another teacher that was, her classroom was right next to ours. She said, I love this classroom, but this little guy right here drives me bonkers. This kid can talk. So at that time, she that word bonkers, I was like, what does that mean? So I went home and I asked one of my cousins, I was like, hey, one of my teachers said that I drive her bonkers, that I talk a lot. And they're like, yeah, because you don't shut up. You're always talking. I never realized that I was talking a lot until my teacher said that. When my teacher says that, I'm like, oh, shoot, dude, you do talk a lot. Like, you never shut up. So I've always been social. I've always been a happy kid. And that's something that I do have to thank both of my parents, Mommy and Papi. I love them. They're amazing, man. And they built me with confidence, man. They taught me that I should always bet on myself before I bet on anyone else. They taught me the importance of confidence and believing in yourself. So growing up, I always had an opinion. Whenever we'd go out to eat, my parents would say, all right, what do you guys want? And I always had an opinion. I could always voice what I wanted to voice. I can always say how I felt. I can always do that in my household. So I feel like that really gave me the confidence to be the person that I am today. And yeah, man, I've always been social. I mean, I've had moments in my life where I get kind of like quiet and like a cocoon, but that's normally when I'm developing myself to come out with something new or to just develop in itself. But yeah, man, I've always been a social person.
Awesome. That's good. You know, I think that a lot of people I feel like it's reversed with me. I'm super introverted, but I feel like in the setting I can feel that I am extroverted. That's
right.
Which is, you know, interesting. I wanted to know if there was something that, you know, correlated to, hey, you know what, this happened and this is why I feel this way. You talked about your mom and your dad being very supportive. You know, they always gave you the tools that you needed to be successful. They always bet on yourself. What is a big advice that either your mom or your dad gave you that every day either comes to mind or you remember that?
Man, it's one of the things that sticks with me every single time is I won't go too much into detail on this, but I'll just share this with you guys. I went through some hard times growing up, and one thing that I remember my mother always telling me, and I remember this very well because it was it sticks in my head, man. And every time that I go through like a struggle or through anything hard, it's always just a little more, keep pushing, just a little more. And it's that's what stuck for my mother. Some of the advice that my dad would give me was, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. So he always taught me about putting whatever it is that you wanted in your heart out into the world, sharing it with someone, just saying it. And once you're able to say it, you're able to hold it. Yeah. He had this conversation with me once about what I wanted to do in life. And it's funny because it was never really about money when we talked. It wasn't about money. It was just about making an impact, and it was always about making people happy and smile.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm slowly achieving that. Getting into the public eye. I'm able to make a funny video that might make you guys happy or smile or laugh. So I feel like I'm already sharing that. And it's funny because I think about it. This conversation is making me think about those conversations that I've had with my father, with my mother. And it's always revolved around helping people, making people happy, making people smile. And now that I think about it, like, I put that into the world so much that I'm starting to really embody that person or that side that I really wanted to do. So yeah, that's to answer your question, that's how it was, man. It was always about pushing forward, always about supporting me, always about really trying to achieve my goals and doing what I have to do to make things happen. So
awesome. Before I ask my last question, where can they find you? For people that don't follow you yet, or people that don't know who you are and what you do, where can they find you?
Right, so if you guys are interested in following me and checking out my content on Instagram, my handle is Ricojay _ RICOJAY _ on YouTube, Ricojay _ vlogs. Same thing as the Instagram handle, but with the added vlogs on there. So you guys can find me on there, check me out, like, comment, subscribe.
Awesome. Final question, what legacy would you like to leave behind?
I would just like to tell everyone and show everyone that if you really set your mind to something, you can achieve it. No dream is too big. There's no dream too big. I remember a year ago from today, I was praying for the stress that I have today. A year ago from today, I was hoping and wishing, and I know you know these things because we're good friends, man. And I know you know that I was praying for the job that I have now, the career that I have now. I was praying for the attention, or not the attention, but I was praying for the ability to share and make skits and do all that stuff. You know about this, man. You know about this before anyone. That's the legacy I want to leave. Just for people to understand that believing in yourself is really important. Knowing that if you bet on yourself, somebody else will bet on you too. So it's just that, man. Just anything is possible, and you can do it. You can do anything you want in life and reality.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Brother.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Guys, if you guys like this, please hit that like button, subscribe, more to come. This gentleman might come out again in another one of my interviews down the line. Who knows who's going to be on here next? Anyone that you suggested I should be interviewing. My biggest goal is just to help those people who are chasing a dream.
Right.
You know, I believe that creativity and success starts from the bottom to the top. Definitely. And anywhere in between. Mm-hmm. You know, we're both upcoming, professionals, both upcoming content creators, and I believe that helping one another is the key to success. So thank you so much for being here, brother.
No, most definitely, and thank you for the interview. Thank you guys for watching. If you're not already, make sure that you guys subscribe to Cruz Garcia's vlog.
Thank you.
He makes some really dope content.
Thank you.
Also one of my really good friends. Make sure that you guys subscribe.
All right, guys. See you guys in the next one. Peace.